Well, hello, and welcome to the Lockhart Radio Podcast. I am your host, Felicia Lockhart, and today we're looking at a couple of live articles that are going on right now. One was already done, and then this one is going to shed a lot of light on some of the things that people stated that they thought was going on. They thought it was happening. So we are going to look at, first of all, the press briefing from today, September 18th, 2024, with the press secretary, Jean-Pierre, I think that's her name, Karine Jean-Pierre. So we're going to look at that. And then we're also going to look at Vice President Kamala Harris deliver a message to the Latin community. This month is Latin America Week, or Latin Heritage Month. And so this is their month, and these two things are going on. But I found it quite curious that it was happening at the exact time that Jerome Powell was talking to old America, you and me. So let's get right into this. I want to go ahead and bring this over to you, and we're going to look at this press briefing that was done about an hour ago. It started not long ago while we were all in another chat. So it's going on now, but I'm picking it up here, okay? When she walks in, she's going to introduce another gal. Here she is, right there. Let's go.
Okay. Got a few things going on today. So I'm joined today by my colleague, Luciana Perez Fernandez, who will speak for a few minutes on Hispanic Heritage Month. Luciana, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Karine. Gracias, Karine. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Luisana Pérez Fernández y soy la directora de medios de coalición de la Casa Blanca. Hoy celebramos la primera semana del mes de la herencia hispana, un momento para reconocer que la diversidad es una de las mayores fortalezas de nuestro país. Este mes honramos la historia, cultura y contribuciones que la comunidad hispana aporta.
I'm leaving it like that on purpose. So as we remember our illustrious leader, commander-in-chief, he told us that we were going to have to get used to them. That's what he said to a group of Black folks. Let's continue, shall we?
A nuestra nación. Comenzando desde esta tarde, el presidente Biden y la primera dama, la doctora Jill Biden, recibirán a líderes y miembros de la comunidad latina en una recepción para celebrar sus logros y contribuciones en los Estados Unidos. Luego, el día de mañana, el presidente dará un discurso en la gala del Instituto del Caucus Congresional Hispano, donde honrará la excelencia latina y las contribuciones del caucus.
Well, maybe in a few minutes she's going to translate. I'm sure she will. I think she will.
Caucus Hispano del Congreso. Allí hablará sobre cómo, desde el primer día en el cargo, él y la vicepresidenta Harris se han comprometido en promover oportunidades y equidad para todos, incluidos los millones de latinos en Estados Unidos. Gracias a este compromiso y a las acciones de la administración Biden-Harris, la comunidad latina ha experimentado una fuerte recuperación económica. La tasa de desempleo latino se redujo a uno de sus niveles más bajos. Hemos apoyado a las pequeñas empresas latinas que ahora experimentan el ritmo de crecimiento más rápido en 30 años. Desde 2020, hemos duplicado la cantidad de préstamos respaldados por la Administración de Pequeños Negocios para empresarios latinos. La proporción de latinos que son propietarios de viviendas ha aumentado en un 50%, con más de 9,5 millones de hogares hispanos que ahora poseen sus propias casas. 5 millones y tomar medidas para eliminar.
Supported Latino.
And they literally allowed her to do the entire speech in Spanish. Now, I'm not saying that that's not something polite to do. Of course, you come, you speak in Spanish, which is your native tongue, to those that you have been appointed to represent. But then if you're going to come here, why wouldn't you then at the same time speak English? One never knows. Let's see what Jean-Pierre says. Let's get back over here where she is.
And the First Lady will host.
Asumieron el cargo y nos comprometemos nuevamente a apoyar a las familias latinas y a las comunidades latinas. Y recordemos, la herencia hispana es la herencia de Estados Unidos. Gracias.
Okay, maybe Jean-Pierre's going to do it in English, which she should have done first and then allowed her to speak in
Thank you
Spanish.
so much for coming. And to echo my colleague, today we celebrate the first week of Hispanic Heritage Month, a time to recognize that diversity is one of our country's greatest strengths.
Okay.
This month, we honor the rich history, culture, and contributions to the Hispanic community brings to our nation. This afternoon, the President and the First Lady will host leaders and members of the Latino community at a reception to celebrate their achievements and contributions in the United States. Tomorrow, the President will attend the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute Gala, where he will honor Latino excellence and the contributions of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. In his remarks, President Biden will highlight how since day one,
I want you guys to be cognizant of one thing, and that is that this was going on at the exact same time that we were all huddled together listening to the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, discuss the lowering of those basis points.
He and the Vice President have been committed to promoting opportunities and equality for all, or equity for all, including the millions of Latinos across the country. Since taking office, President Biden and Vice President Harris have lowered Latino unemployment to the lowest rate on record, supported Latino small businesses, which are now experiencing the fastest growth rate in 30 years, doubled the amount of SBA-backed loans for Latino entrepreneurs. Hispanic ownership has climbed to about 50%, with over 9.5 million Hispanic households owning their own homes. Lowered drug prices for 5 million Latinos with Medicare, expanded affordable and quality healthcare coverage to Latino families, including to DACA recipients from the Affordable Care Act, created a federal government that reflects the diversity of the United States, with our 4 Latino members serving in the cabinet, helped Puerto Rico's economy by investing over $140 billion and adding more than 100,000 new jobs, vigorously defended the DACA policy and taken steps to keep married couples together, where one spouse is a U.S. citizen and the other has been in the U.S. for 10 years or more. This month is also an opportunity to celebrate the Latinos in the Biden-Harris administration and the White House who have worked on our administration's priorities: canceling student debt for millions of people, expanding access to quality health care, reducing drug costs, and taking action to eliminate gun violence in our communities. This National Hispanic Heritage Month, we celebrate the progress and prosperity we are continuing to create for Latino communities since President Biden and Vice President Harris took office.
All of these things are done by design, and all of these things are done with explicit timing. There is, as we said in the last live just not long ago, there is nothing that is done by accident, and because they work as that 12-piece ball we talked about, everything is succinct. Let's give us the distraction and go over here. The purpose for me even pulling this up right now is because I said, oh, no. We're not going to just leave it there with just dealing with Jerome Powell and that very confused feeling that we all just had. We need to hear exactly what they were talking about while we was over here talking about the money. Here, they're telling you about a totally different America. Here, they're describing an America that has abundant jobs. They're telling you about America that has abundant housing ownership. They're telling you about an America that has SBA loans flowing out of the wazoo when other people that own companies and could not even find one grant that fit the narrative that I was looking for. So, ta-ta, America. And here's the plan for America. Latin America.
And we reaffirm our commitment to supporting Latino families and communities. And let's remember, Hispanic Heritage Month is American heritage. Now, my colleague from the National Security Council, Admiral John Kirby, is here to talk to you about the President's upcoming Quad Summit in Delaware, in Wilmington, Delaware, to be specific, and also the UN General Assembly next week. Admiral?
Okay, that's enough. Here's what I want to show you.
Try to do this without butchering my own.
Okay, I want to show you this. He's still chatting, and we'll get over there to him in a second. This is what I wanted to show you guys that we were talking about before we left the last live. This is the, it's called Online Visas, Delivering Dreams. Onlinevisas.com is the website that we're gleaning this from right now. And this is going to go right on. It's going to dovetail right with what she just got through saying. But again, I just think that it's very embarrassing and quite rude for you to come on to the White House channel on YouTube and not at least express, hey, we don't mind you coming and speaking your language, but could you please translate in English and then going ahead and say it in Spanish, or do it in Spanish first, but come back with the English. And that to me just tells you exactly what the goal is here. And that's the reason why I came back on to share this. That's the reason why, because to me, that was a kick in the teeth. First off, show at the same time that Jerome Powell is. They have all the timing in the world. They know what time it was coming. So let's get into this. This is why Kamala Harris's $25,000 down payment assistance proposal is crucial for immigrant families. But see, this is not what everybody else sees. This is not what everyone else sees. And again, listen, we are not against any other group of people. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're with a finite microscope going in like a laser, and we're focusing on the fact that the discrepancies and the divisiveness is all coming from one place. Anytime you don't secure a border, anytime you allow anybody and everybody and their mama to come in and just do whatever they want, anytime when you don't take in the best and the brightest, but you take the those that are in prisons and those who are committing felonies in their own countries, okay, from unfair and unjustly served people that they were treating poorly in their countries, and bring them here. Anytime you can do all of that and this, that tells us your agenda. And that's what I'm trying to drive home, just to put it all in a little button, put it all in a little bitty button. This is what I'm attempting to drive home, as I usually do. Let me go ahead and make this right here. Who cares about the cookies? Just do whatever. I'm going to let you guys see this. Ask your immigration questions every Friday night, every Friday at 11:30. Yeah, no. Maybe I will ask a couple of questions and see what they have to say later. But anyway, this article, now let's get rid of this person here. There, probably shouldn't have pushed that button. Home ownership has long been a cornerstone of the American dream, symbolizing stability, wealth building, and a sense of belonging. However, for many immigrant families, achieving this dream can feel out of reach due to high upfront costs like down payments and closing fees. No SH sugar honey iced tea, Sherlock. That's the reason why a lot of us don't have them. Okay? That's why a lot of Americans don't. All right. Vice President Kamala Harris's recent proposal to provide up to $25,000 in down payment assistance aims to make home ownership more attainable for first-time and first-generation homebuyers. This initiative is particularly significant for immigrant communities who often face unique barriers in the housing market. Everybody faces unique barriers. One, for instance, is that lovely credit score that if you got one Visa card that you only paid a portion on could hold you back from that American dream. With that said, let's continue. Kamala Harris's proposal is part of her broader economic agenda for the 2024 presidential campaign. It aims to provide substantial financial assistance to first-time and first-generation homebuyers, and it specifically targets individuals and families who have paid their rent on time for 2 years and are looking to buy their first home. So here's what could happen. This could set a whole bunch of people who went down there, who will go down there and give her specifically the vote because this is something she plans to do. It could be setting them up for the GAFLN. How and why? Well, this is how. By making them think that this is something that they're going to do, and then when they get the request for showing the 2 years of on-time payment for their rent, what's going to happen? Somebody ain't going to have it. There's going to be a lot of disillusioned people because what they love to do is the switch and bait. But with that said, let's just finish. The proposal offers up to $25,000 in down payment support with more generous assistance available for first-generation homebuyers, meaning those whose parents don't currently own a home. The initiative is crucial for immigrant families who often face hurdles such as lower average incomes, lack of credit history, and discrimination in the housing market by easing the financial burden of purchasing a home. Harris's proposal could significantly increase home ownership rates. Hold on a second, you guys. Think about that. Just think about it. Wouldn't it be great if you had had that kind of help? Wouldn't it have been great? Yeah, I think it would have been great. Yeah, it would have been great. So the initiative is crucial for immigrant families who often face hurdles such as lower average incomes. That sound like Black folks. Lack of credit history. That sound like Black folk. Bad credit, no credit, credit, the kids' credit. And discrimination in the housing market by easing the financial burden of purchasing a home. Harris's proposal could significantly increase home ownership rates among immigrants, providing them with the opportunity to build equity, stabilize their housing situation, and integrate more fully into the American society. And isn't it amazing that when they took all that land from each and every one of the people in Mississippi and Alabama, all of those Native American people from my tribes, Choctaw, Cherokee, Creek, from all of those tribes, didn't know about who you giving this to? Whose stuff are you passing out? You passing out somebody's stuff because it ain't yours. Your mama and daddy didn't come from here. So whose stuff you passing out? It's a good question. The importance of addressing racial and economic disparities. What about the redlining that you guys did in Compton, California? In Carson, California, when it was torrent, you couldn't get in there. Oh, they'd stone you if you'd attempted that. I'm 60. This wasn't but a handful of years ago. Yeah, we have to use the juxtaposition. Why? Because these are the very same people, the Black folk are the very same people that stood up on the soapbox and screamed, Black and brown community, you're doing for marginalized Black and brown community. You're hurting Black and brown communities. You consider yourself Black and I ain't Black and brown. And you consider them brown and they ain't brown. They look more like white, that you consider white. But this is what you did. You got in there and you started fighting for other people instead of staying in your lane and dealing with the stuff you were supposed to deal with. You got over here in this lane. Now, because you've given them the thumbs up and because you've given them your stamp of approval to do everything that they're doing, you're going to be left out. And I'm speaking specifically to the people who allowed a man named Jesse Jackson to go to Congress and change the label of this group. The African Americans. How can you be named after two continents unless you are born in Africa and move here and become an African American? You literally allowed them to call you two continents, African and America, when you were an American, dingbat. When I drive up and down Mississippi, that's my place. That's my land. They stole my grandmama's stuff. They stole my mama's stuff, but it's still where I come from. They take away your heritage. They don't even let you know that you're not from Africa, that you did not come on no boat, that you didn't come through, you didn't come through North Carolina, South Carolina. You didn't come through Virginia. You didn't come through the Massachusetts area. You didn't come from over there. You ain't Geechee. You're from Niji Island, Turtle Island. This is where you're from. But because you've decided to hit your wagon on somebody else's problem, this is what you now get. This is the reality. Funny. It's hilarious to me that for specific reasons, some of us don't necessarily agree with the actual act of reparations. We do believe that something should be given for all the land that has been stolen. But they done gave all y'all stuff away to everybody that was not from here. Wait until you hear the next speech that I have. Oh boy. So now it goes to say that the proposal is not just helping individuals buy homes. It's about addressing systemic inequalities in the housing markets. Immigrants, especially those from marginalized racial and ethnic backgrounds. Do you see what they're doing? This is your replacement, Black father, Black mama, Black auntie. And by proxy, because poor white folk can't speak up, because if they did, they would be considered a racist. By proxy, White mama, white daddy, white auntie. That's how it rolls. All the crap usually rolls downhill. They're using the exact same verbiage. They don't need you to carry that load anymore. They're going to bring people who carried their loads of water and other things from their country, the people who have affinity to their country, that if their country was okay, they would never have come over here. That if everything was working well in their country, they would never be here right now. You would have been able to drag them if they knew about what this place was up to. You wouldn't have been able to drag them from their country. But now you have built exactly what you're going to get. And the idiots that sit on Instagram and the dodo birds that get on Twitter, now X, and lambaste others because they don't want to vote for somebody that's lying, saying that they're another ethnicity. Do you see how the lies roll? The lies work. And because the lies work, that's the reason why they're able to keep doing it. It worked. The strategy works. So the proposal aims to level the playing field by offering financial support to those who need it most. Take your rump down there, Mr. Copper. Lady that look like copper. Lady that's sort of copper color like this right here. Take your rump down there and see, can you get one of these? I bet you can't. In addition to down payment assistance, Harris has advocated for policies that will expand the supply of affordable housing, a crucial component to ensuring that increased demand doesn't lead to inflated home prices. Her plan includes building 3 million new housing units and enacting measures to prevent Wall Street investors from buying homes in bulk. Why ain't you stopped it now? It's the same chick who's been in there for 3.5, 4 years. So the question is, you knew the Wall Street investors was going over here in America buying up homes in bulk, but you wore down the American people long enough for it to matter that now the juxtaposition is that all you got to do is say that, oh, we're going to stop that. We're not going to allow that to happen. No. Which means you know that it's going on right now. You already know that it's happening. That in and of itself is criminal. That in and of itself. Let's continue. They're going to stop Wall Street investors from buying homes in bulk, which can drive up prices and reduce the availability. That's exactly the way that it is right now. Comparing to previous initiatives, building on a track record. Now get this. The $25,000 down payment assistance proposals builds on similar initiatives from the Biden-Harris administration and previous legislative efforts. Number one, the Down Payment Toward Equity Act. This act, introduced in 2021, also aimed to provide up to $25,000 in assistance to first-time and first-generation homebuyers. Although it has not yet passed into law, it set a precedence for Harris's current proposal. The act specifically targeted socially and economically disadvantaged groups, including immigrants, to help close up the racial and economic homeowner gap. Forget you, man. Forget you, Bonquisha. Forget you, Bubba. Forget you, Susan. You don't get nothing. It's not to say that you want a handout. It's the fact that you wasn't even asked if you needed something. First-time home buyer tax credit, another initiative from the Biden administration. This tax credit will provide up to $15,000 to first-time home buyers, offering another form of financial relief to those entering the housing market. While different in structure, this tax credit shares the same goal of making home ownership more accessible. The American Rescue Plan. This comprehensive economic relief package included significant funding for housing assistance, focusing on emergency rental assistance, homeowner assistance funds, and homelessness prevention. Now, we're not going to worry about all of them people that they burned out in California. We're not going to worry about all of that blue tarp that you see when you drive down the streets of Los Angeles or thumb through one of the occasional videos that comes across your newsfeed here on YouTube. No, we're not worried about those individuals. Those people got their own governments to help them within their cities and their counties, within their states. Right. Sure they do. We're not going to deal with the homelessness. We're not going to help that at all. We're not going to do anything for preventing that from happening to you, Madam Q Public, Mr. Q Public, because these measures, while not directly aimed at down payment assistance, have helped stabilize the housing situations for many Americans. Funny, I can't tell. Indirectly supporting future home ownership. And then when they get tired of you in those specific areas that they've put you in, what they're going to do if you're homeless is they're going to make sure that they give you a bus ticket, for example, in San Francisco. Going to anywhere USA, we don't care, but you just got to get up out of here, baby. You ain't got to go home, but you got to leave San Francisco. So if you're homeless, their homelessness prevention is out of pocket for you. They're going to give you money for a bus fare and ask you to go away. Yeah. A lot of these countries are now doing that. I don't think it's the Netherlands, but there's another country that I read about this morning that's literally giving up to $34,000 to immigrants to go home. They said, just go home. You ain't got to leave and go to your house, but you got to get out of this house. So here, take this money and go back where you came from. Up to $34,000 to leave that country. Yeah, that part. Why? Because they were a part of the plan to destabilize communities and states and countries throughout the world, but now they're tired. And so they've done what they were supposed to do. It's run its course. Those who are going to stay are going to stay. They're permanent fixtures now, but that's what they're doing here. And who knows how we stop this? Do you really think that voting anybody in is going to change it if you already come into that knowledge that there's already humans above those humans, levels and levels and levels and degrees above those people, those who are selected? In conclusion, Kamala Harris's $25,000 down payment assistance proposal represents a significant opportunity for immigrant families to achieve the dream of home ownership. By providing targeted financial support, this initiative addresses some of the key barriers that have kept many immigrants from buying homes. It builds on previous efforts to make the housing market more inclusive and equitable, offering a concrete pathway for immigrants to build wealth, gain stability, and fully participate in American life. For immigrant families, this proposal could be the key to unlocking their doors to their own homes, and by extension, their futures in the United States. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. Just let it sink in. Again, we're not against people being here. We're against the dirt that's being thrown on everybody to cause mass confusion. That's what we're concerned about. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about completely negating the United States Constitution and all of the amendments and the preamble and everything else, the whole kit and caboodle while you're at it. We're talking about taking that and throwing it in the garbage can. You're doing things like giving driver's license, giving housing, giving financial. You are giving incentives. You're incentivizing corruption. You are incentivizing illegalities. You are incentivizing things that are not legal by putting it out there that if you come here, these are the things that you're going to get. And oh my God, I feel bad for the people who have already decided to take the time to become a citizen, and they've been shoveled out of the way. I haven't heard their voices. If anyone in the chat has heard their voices, let me know. Let me know if you've heard the voices of individuals who started out to become an American citizen, and now they've been pushed even further back than they once were. It's terrible. The next thing that we're going to listen to before we close is the Kamala Harris conversation that they had with her. Okay. I want you guys to get a gander. Make sure that you understand that these things were done while you and I were on the live from earlier dealing with the Fed easing up. Just easing up a smidge. Here we go. I fast forwarded to the gentleman, that's the Hispanic gentleman from the Hispanic Caucus Institutes. He's going to announce the vice president. Okay, let's go.
Thank you, Marco. Buenas tardes. Wait. Buenas tardes. Okay, I see that got to you. That lunch got to you. No? Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. This week is a momentous week for CHCI as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, welcoming over 2,000 of you, Latinos from across the country, and recognizing our legacy and the impact and our growing influence across the nation. As we face crossroads in America, the Latino community plays a pivotal role in making sure that our nation moves forward. And at this crossroad, it is crucial that our young people, yes, you, our young people, register to vote and make their voices heard at the polls every time and continue to lead on the front lines. This is
Okay, now he's going to, and now he's building up to announce Kamala Harris. This is Vice President Harris delivers remarks at the CHCI 47th Annual Leadership Conference, okay? So that those who are coming in know we're watching.
This is how we ensure that our seniors are protected. This is how we ensure that we have high quality health care, our families have access to economic opportunity, and our freedoms are protected and safeguarded. We all know that our families deserve affordable health care, quality education for our children, and more good paying jobs for our community. The person I'm about to introduce.
Now, the fact that he's standing there is and saying what he's saying is because this is exactly what's going on. They actually do have a community. And that really should give some folks pause. They come, they mind their own business, they do their work, and that's great. And I'm happy for them. But the point that I'm making is what she's about to say when Kamala Harris gets up. Let's listen, because that's going to be the butter.
Will be the leader who is focused on our future, a leader who delivers for us, a champion who ensures that every person, each and every one of you, is able to thrive. Together with President Biden, this person helped create 16 million jobs, including 5 million jobs for Latinos across the country.
$5 million jobs.
Get this, she delivered, that's right, she delivered the lowest national unemployment rate in more than 50 years and the lowest Latino unemployment rate in record. This person has remained.
On what planet did she do this, sir?
A relentless advocate for Latino community, has consistently, yes, consistently worked to amplify our voices and build a more inclusive and prosperous future for Latinos and all Americans. This person is a daughter of immigrants. Yes, this person is a former San Francisco district attorney. This person is the former attorney general of the state of California and a United States senator. This person is the first woman to serve as vice president of these United States. Please get
What? No black?
up and help me welcome the vice president of these United States, Kamala Harris.
Please have a seat. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. Oh, it's good to see so many friends. I love you back. I want to recognize Chair Barragan. Where are you? My dear friend, fellow Californian, I want to thank you for all that you do and all that you have done. CHCI Chair Espaillat, thank you for all that you are. Both of them have spent time with me at my house, and we've shared a lot of good stories together and many meals together. And I just want to personally thank them both because they really, as you know, are extraordinary people and
Really? Really? Just imagine two big old Christmas hams sitting together and her doing this.
extraordinary leaders, and they do so much
If you know, you
on
know.
behalf of so many. So thank you both for your leadership and for hosting me this afternoon. And to all the incredible leaders here, it is an honor to be with you again, and to everyone, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Which in my book is every month of the year. So this is a room of
What happened to her Southern accent? Y'all better thank a union worker. You better thank a union worker. How come she's not doing any of that? Why don't I hear any, I'm gonna tell you something. I know exactly what's going on because he was at my house and he was at my house, and together we sat down and we ate dinner together. Why isn't she doing any of that? Because these people are not going to take that. You can't come in there pandering to them. But black folks, oh man, just whip out a bottle of hot sauce and you're all in. You're all in, Hillary.
of longstanding friends, and many of you know my background. My mother arrived in the United States when she was 19 years old by herself. And I spoke about it recently, actually. You know, my mother, I was the eldest child. And as the eldest child, those of us who are, you see a lot of things in terms of what your parents go through. And I would often see how my mother was treated. She was a 5-foot-tall brown woman with an accent.
Because she was an Indian?
And I would see how the world would sometimes treat her. But I'm going to tell you something, and this is where I come from. My mother never lost her cool. She never defined her sense of dignity based on how others treated her. She was a proud woman. She was a hardworking woman. She had 2 goals in her life: to raise her 2 daughters, my sister Maya and me, and to end breast cancer. She was a breast cancer researcher. And growing up, our mother taught us certain fundamental values: the importance of hard work, the power of community, and the responsibility that we have to not complain about anything, much less injustice, right? Because why are you complaining about it, she would say, do something about it. And that's how.
Like your mother's mother did back in the 20s, walking around with a bullhorn. Let me quote her. Her grandmother walked around in the village in India telling women about their reproductive rights. She said it. I didn't. She said her mama's mama, which would have put her back in the 20s or 30s. Well, the 20s, because my mama's mama, she and I are the same age. And my mama's mama was born in 1926. Her mama's mama was running around in a village in India talking about women's reproductive rights. You are a liar, lady. But I'm going to let you finish talking to the Hispanic people because this is their annual leadership conference. And let me go ahead and listen.
I was raised. Do something about it. And those values have guided me my entire career. From, as you heard, being a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California. We're Bay Area. 106.1 KMEL. That was our local radio station for hip hop. But doing that.
It's so amazing how she loves the Black community. She slept with Mayor Willie Brown's husband, the wife of Mayor Willie Brown. She slept with her husband for a long time. She dated the Montel Williams guy. She loves the Black men, but yet she didn't marry one. She just loves to bathe herself around the Black community, allegedly. She's allegedly an AKA. And I say allegedly because I already know what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's about to happen, because I've been throwing this in the ether. Watch them come up with something created. I've been saying, how come I haven't seen any pictures of her online? Watch them create some with her crossing. Watch them create her face on the top of a Black girl going to the Howard, an HBCU, okay, and allowing her to be the person who was literally online. They're going to show her online going through her sorority, being hazed. Just watch, because I've been saying it. And I know stuff's listening when you're saying stuff. They're going to come up with it. This lady is amazing.
At work, part of the background on why I became a prosecutor was actually when I was in high school. I learned that my best friend was being abused, being molested by her stepfather. And when I learned about it, I told her she had to come live with us. And I called my mother, and my mother said, of course she does, and she did. And so I decided I wanted to start a career and do the work of, in part, just doing the work of making sure that we protect the most vulnerable. And so I started my career as a courtroom prosecutor, and took on those who would be predators against the most vulnerable. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks and delivered $20 billion for homeowners who were
After you put your hands in it, let's go.
middle-class families who faced foreclosure because of predatory lending practices. I stood up for veterans and students who are being scammed by the big for-profit colleges, knowing and many of whom had an immigrant background and were just simply trying to do the best they could to invest in themselves and their family for their future, and the subject of awful scams. I have stood up in my career for workers who are being cheated out of the wages they were due, and for seniors who have faced elder abuse. And I say all
Did you stand up for all of the prisoners that you prevented from exiting jail due to the contracts that you had with cell phone companies? All of those prisoners that you made stay beyond their date of exit. Did you stand up for them? Or better yet, who stood up for them?
all that to say, when I stand here before you today, this is not just something that I decided to do, but really is about a lifelong career that has been about fighting for the people, for the people. And for years, I have been proud to fight alongside the members and the leaders of this incredible caucus. In almost all of that work. And the work we have done together has been about so much I just talked about. It has been about defending workers' rights. It has been about expanding healthcare for more Americans, including dreamers. It has been about forgiving billions of dollars
So here she's going to tell you her real agenda. Let's listen.
in student loan debt, including for many of the folks that we know, friends, relatives, who again have been burdened by that heavy debt and just needed to be seen. Teachers, firefighters, nurses. The work we have done together has been to create the National Museum of the American Latino. And of course, last year I was proud to be with a lot of the leaders here in Houston for the CHC On the Road tour. So I say that to say that CHC, our work together, has always been guided by shared values and by a shared vision. However, at this moment, we are confronting two different.
Love you, Angela. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you popped in. Everybody, while we're here together, please remember to hit the like button. It really helps out the channel a great deal.
Very, very different visions for our nation. One focused on the past, the other, ours, focused on the future. We fight for a future, for affordable healthcare, affordable childcare, and paid leave. We fight for a future where we can build what I call an opportunity economy, understanding that the people of our country, the people we know, have extraordinary ambition and aspirations and dreams of what they can be, what they can do, are prepared to do the hard work and put that hard work in, but don't necessarily always have access to the opportunities to achieve and realize those goals. So I see in America where everyone has an opportunity to own a home, to build wealth, to start a business. I believe in a future. We together believe in a future where we can lower the cost of living for America's families so that people have an opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. And so with the work we have done together and going forward, we will continue to lower the cost of groceries, for example, by taking on something that I think is very important to deal with, which is price gouging on behalf of big corporations.
There is no big price gouge. There's no price gouging among big corporations. It's you. You and that guy have been in there for 4 years. And the amazing piece is nobody voted for you. Nobody voted for her. Nobody voted for her. 14 million people voted for Paw. Okay? They voted for Biden. They slid you in there. Do you understand that the majority of this stuff is so far-fetched that what have you been doing the last 4 years, lady? What have you been doing for the last 4 years? You keep saying people aren't going to go back, but back to what? You guys are the back. You guys are the 4 years. We were able to afford things 4 years ago. Now, not so much. So I want to try to understand how she can so eloquently attempt to stand there and, after she's practiced all this over and over again, we're not going to go back. We got people who are trying to go back. We doing this for you guys and we giving you this. And, you're an idiot. My opinion. I think maybe this live stream might suffer a little bit because now I'm ramped up after the last one. So, oh well, forgive me.
I've seen that happen before. Many of you who have coming from states where we've seen extreme weather conditions in California, wildfires in other parts of the country, or even in the pandemic, where people are desperate because of these kinds of emergencies, desperate for support, and then some, corporation, and it's very few of them that do this, but then jack up prices to make it more difficult for desperate people to just get by. We need to take that on. We need to lower the cost of housing. We don't have enough housing in our country.
Wait a minute. We just read an article here that says she was well aware of the fact that Wall Street, here it is. No. You don't get allowed to do that. It says here, in addition to the down payment assistance that Harris is going to implement, Harris has advocated for policies that will expand the supply of affordable housing, a crucial component to ensuring that increased demand doesn't lead to inflated home prices. Her plan includes building 3 million new homes, which is a bunch of crap because the logistics of that doesn't even match, but nonetheless. And enhancing measures to prevent Wall Street investors from buying homes in bulk. You already know it. It says it drives prices up and reduce the availability. Heifer, you already knew this. What you're doing is coming. Oh my God, this is gaslighting 101. Do you guys realize this is gaslighting 101? You do something wrong, then people tell you what you did wrong, and then you turn it around how you did it wrong, and you try to sell it back to them as, I'm going to fix thus and such, but you never say, I'm going to fix what I started. I'm going to repair what I've done. That's not what she's saying. She's literally gaslighting everybody. Wow. Freaking wow.
The supply is too low and it's too expensive, both for renters and for folks who want to buy a home. So we will build together millions of new homes and give first-time home buyers $25,000 in down payment assistance.
Is that something that the president even has the power to do? I thought that the president's job was to back the laws that Congress writes and passes. How is a president even able to say, I'm going to build X amount of million new houses? Are these the 15-minute cities that you're going to make sure that you allow the World Economic Forum to come over here and push and exact their will on the American people to have them living in high rises? Where you going to put all of these houses? Where the houses going to fit? If you go to anywhere USA, unless of course it's some of those houses that you guys allowed to become ghost towns out in, I don't know, Kansas and other places. So the people that you're talking to, what are they going to do if for whatever reason you get voted in and they find out that you were selling them another crock of crap? But then it's too late, right? Then you're going to figure out another way to blame the former administration. If you get in the next 4 years, you're going to figure out another way to blame the former administration for the failures of your first 4 years, to beg them to take you back in another 4 years. Look, lady, people didn't want you then. That's the reason why in 2020, you had to get your behind up out of there, because you already saw wasn't nobody dealing with your crazy self. Nobody was dealing with you. And now you want everybody to believe that the president can say we're going to build X amount of millions of new homes. You literally are going to get people to believe that. Oh, wait a minute. These are the same people who bought the fact that you were not voted in as the presidential candidate. That's probably how she's going to do it. That's ingenious.
Because look, people just want to get their foot in the door. My mother worked hard. She saved up. It wasn't until I was a teenager that she was able to buy our first home. And the American dream is elusive for far too many people increasingly. And that's why it is part of my perspective that let's just do the work of giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance. Let them get their foot in the door. We need to lower the cost of healthcare and continue to take on big pharma and cap the cost of prescription medications. Yes, for our seniors, which we have done together, but for all Americans. Because when we look at drugs like insulin, everyone here knows, first of all, Latinos are 70% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. And with the support of CHC, we were able to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for our seniors. In fact, recently I was in Nevada. I'm in these streets, let me tell you, I'm everywhere.
I'm in
But I
these
was
streets.
recently,
Why is she trying to equate herself with a prostitute? Because don't prostitutes go in the streets? I'm in these streets, let me tell you. Do you talk like that to your husband and his children? Do you talk like that to your friends when they come to your house for a big gala or some type of dinner party? Do you tell them that you're in the streets, these said streets, Kamala? Where are those said streets? Inquiring minds want to know. Boo.
in Nevada, and a woman came up to me with tears in her eyes, and she showed me the receipts for her mother's insulin. And she showed me many papers, and I said, tell me what these are. And she said, well, these are the receipts, and I want you to see where it used to cost us hundreds, if not $1,000 a month, but no more. The work we are doing together, the very purpose of CHC and all of the leaders here, includes having a real impact.
To answer your question, I'm glad you did, because I have the answer right here on deck. Let me go ahead and read it to you folks and let you guys see it. I'm going to let you guys see it because you and I both, we're not crazy. We are not crazy, Paula. It was him. So let's just go ahead and get into that right now. We can get back to the fibber in a minute. President Trump announces lower out-of-pocket insulin costs for Medicare seniors. This was dated May 26, 2020. Today, under President Trump's leadership, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services announced that over 1,750 standalone Medicare Part D prescription plan drugs and Medicare Advantage plans with prescription drug coverage have applied to offer lower insulin costs through the Part D senior savings model for the 2021 plan year. Across the nation, participating enhanced Part D prescription drug plans will provide Medicare beneficiaries access to a broad set of insulins at the maximum copay of $35 for a month's supply. For those of you who are just listening and are not able to watch, I'm sitting here quiet on purpose. From the beginning of the year through the Part D coverage gap, the model follows on the Trump administration's previously announced 13.5% decline in the average monthly basic Part D premium since 2017 to the lowest level in 7 years. Currently, Part D sponsors may offer prescription drug plans that provide lower cost sharing in the coverage gap. However, when they do, the Part D sponsor accrues costs that pharmaceutical manufacturers would normally pay. These costs are then passed on to beneficiaries in the form of higher premiums. The new insulin model directly addresses the de-incentive by doing two things. The first thing that it does, I'm just First thing that it does is allowing manufacturers to continue paying their full coverage gap discount for their products, even when the plan offers lower cost sharing, and 2, requiring participating Part D sponsor plans, in part through applying manufacturer rebates to lowering cost sharing to no more than $35 a month for a month's supply for a broad set of insulins. Under President Trump's leadership, for the first time, CMS is enabling and encouraging Part D plans to offer fixed, predictable copays for beneficiaries rather than leaving seniors paying 25% of the drug costs in the coverage gap. Both manufacturers and Part D sponsors responding to this market-based solution enforce, and seniors that use insulin will reap the benefits. Based on the CMS estimates, beneficiaries who use insulin and join a plan participating in the model could see an average of out-of-pocket savings of $446 or 66% of their insulins, found in part by manufacturer paying an estimated additional $250 million of discounts over 5 years of the model. With a robust voluntary response from Part D sponsors, CMS anticipates beneficiaries will have Plan D option in all 50 prescription drug plans, PDP, or Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage. Beneficiaries will be able to enroll during the Medicare open enrollment, which is from October 15th, 2020 through December 7th, 2020. For Part D coverage that begins January 2021. Quote, President Trump has forged partnerships with pharmaceutical manufacturers and plans to deliver lower priced insulin to our nation's seniors, said CMS Administrator Seema Verma. She continues, this market-based solution in which insulin manufacturers and Part D sponsors compete to provide lower costs and higher quality for patients will allow seniors to choose Part D that covers their insulin at an average of 66% lower out-of-pocket costs throughout the year. I don't want to read no more. My reason for doing this and for pulling this up, and I'm glad you reminded me of it, because what I thought about, Paula, during the debate was, why didn't Trump challenge her on that? There's something awry here. There's something afoot. I just made a question the other day when I saw him standing right next to Don Bongino, who stands 6'1". I know how tall the guy is. I've followed him for a while. And I've also known that they have shrunk Trump over the past few years. That cat stood 6'5". I remember him standing next to the guy from the FBI who was a smidge taller than him. His son is almost 7 feet. Trump's son is almost 7 foot. Why is he now all of a sudden 6'1"? That's, for an American guy, a little bit above average, but it's not unheard of. And it's not even worthy of mentioning his height. But people talked about his height because the height was 6'5". And the former guy that was in the FBI was like 6'6", 6'7". We're talking Chamberlain. We're talking tall cats. Okay. So something's up, because the one thing that I would have rebutted with her was, what are you talking about, lady? I'm the one who did that. I'm the one who went to the negotiation table and talked to those folks about the insulin. Not you guys. It wasn't you guys that did that. But let's finish listening to what she's got to say. Let me finish over here with her. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to put it on and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to pull it back a little bit right there.
The work we are doing to
We
me
didn't
with
do
tears
nothing.
in her eyes. And she showed me the receipts for her mother's insulin.
This is a
And
lie.
she showed me many papers and I said, tell me what these
Lie.
are. And she said, well, these are the receipts. And I want you to see where it used to cost us hundreds, if not $1,000 a month, but no more. The work we are doing together, the very purpose of CHC and all of the leaders here includes having a real impact on real people. And I have the blessing of being able to travel our country and see it every day. It's extraordinary work that is happening because of the leaders here. We, because of our work together, have finally given Medicare the power to negotiate lower drug prices with Big Pharma. And understand, if my opponent, Donald Trump, wins, his allies in Congress intend to end Medicare and end Medicare's negotiating power, as they remind us again this week. They are essentially saying, check this out, because you have to ask why, right? So why would you want to end Medicare's negotiating power against Big Pharma? And essentially they're saying that it's not fair to Big Pharma. That's essentially what they're saying. But I'll tell you what's not fair. What's not fair is that our seniors for too long have had to cut pills in half because they cannot afford their full medication. That's not fair. It's not fair that our seniors have had to choose between filling their prescriptions and putting food in their refrigerator or paying their rent.
Dude, that's you. That's on you. You was at the helm. You were at the head. You were at the top of the heap. It was you for the last 3.5 years. Not just that, we just read that it was President Trump who went and did the negotiations. The CMS.gov website, lady. We just read from the CMS.gov's website. Press release dated May 26, 2020. 2 months after they announced the state of emergency. You are a bold face fibber. Yeah, we just read it. We caught you.
That's not fair. And that's why we will continue to do our work together, including Fight Project 2025, an agenda that would cut Medicare and increase the cost of health care in our country. Because we stand with the people and on the side of...
No, you don't stand with the people, Heifer. You guys get in your nice little ivory tower houses, and when them folks is coming over the border and they coming to live in different people's communities, you guys don't want them nowhere near your house. You don't want them nowhere near your resorts. You don't want them anywhere against your near your vacation places, just like they did in Texas when they sent all them people up there to Martha's Vineyard. You guys had a conniption. Oh my God, they're getting off the bus. Oh Lord, they in town. Oh God, somebody get them. And you guys got them out of there lickety freaking split. You don't live beside nobody that can't help you.
The people. We will also cut taxes for working families, including restoring and expanding the child tax credit.
Why didn't you do it? Why haven't you already done it?
Because we know this is the kind of work that must happen if we are to be true to our values and be true to understanding that parents, in particular young parents, need that support. When we extended the child tax credit, cut child poverty by 50%, by half. Think about what that meant for so many families. The vast majority of parents have a desire to raise their children well. They love their children, but don't necessarily have the resources to do everything their child needs. I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community.
What?
And we should all have a vested interest.
What? I'm gonna hold you to that one, sister, because I'm trying to get what? I grew up understanding that the children of the community are the children of the community. Now I said that, didn't I? Hey, I sure enough said it. You heard me. I said it. You heard that, didn't you? Like that right there? I'm gonna say it again. I said that the children of the community, watch this now, they the children of the community. They are the children. Whoa, it's creepy, bizarre.
In ensuring that children can grow up with the resources that they need to achieve their God-given potential. So I know where I come from. And we have to always put, and I know CHC agrees with this, and this is part of our collective life's work. We have to put the middle class first. We have to put working families first, understanding their dreams and their desires and their ambitions deserve to be invested in, and it will benefit everyone.
Something tells me that that nice little hand clapping that she got, they're all going to regret it. I haven't watched this. I'm watching it for the first time with you. And as you know, because we're using this, we have to make sure that we're making it our own. And I am. But here's the deal. I think somebody in a minute is going to really regret clapping for her. I don't know why, but I could just imagine her, with her whole entire kneecap in her mouth.
And together, CHC, we must also reform our broken immigration system. And protect our dreamers and understand we can do both, create an earned pathway to citizenship and ensure our border is secure. We can do both, and we must do both.
But why haven't you done it? Huh? And what is this around your neck in the middle of the summer? It isn't even vernal. It isn't even autumnal equinox yet, and you've got this big old thing around. What are you hiding? Anyway, why haven't you done it?
And while we fight to move our nation forward to a brighter future, Donald Trump and his extremist allies will keep trying to pull us backward. We all remember what they did to tear families apart. And now they have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history. Imagine what that would look like and what that would be. How's that going to happen? Massive raids? Massive detention camps? What are they talking about?
I don't know. Maybe they can put them all on those same exact airplanes that you guys had, Delta and American Airlines. I guess they're still around, or they were. Southwest. They can have all of those companies that you guys use for free on my tax dime and everybody in the chats. Maybe they can use the airplanes that you guys brought them all in overnight on. I don't know. Something about going back the way you came. I don't know. Makes sense to me.
They will also give billions of dollars of tax cuts to billionaires and corporations, massive tax cuts, pardon January 6th perpetrators who attacked our capital not far from here. They would cut Social Security and Medicare.
Why did she get up there and lie like that? I know good and well that them Democrats that's sitting in the office, that's sitting in that audience, listening to her mindless dribble, don't believe that stuff that she's saying. Could that be the reason why you could hear a shoe drop? Could that be? This lady is amazing.
And to end the Affordable Care Act and threaten the health care of more than 5 million Latinos in our country. All based on, I'm sure many of you saw the debate. So on that point about the Affordable Care Act, all based on concepts of a plan. Concepts.
Okay, so you mean to tell me that you're going to take the credit for the then Bill and Hillary Clinton's agenda for medical that was signed when Obama got in office almost immediately So now that was you? Because it wasn't even him, but it was you. Oh, hey, how you doing?
Concepts. Their Project 2025 agenda would pull our nation backward. But we are not going back.
Not
We are
going
not
back
going
to what?
back.
The last 4
We are
years?
not going back. Instead, together, we
How many times does that man have to tell you that he did not pin agenda or Project 2025? He did not pin it. That is the Heritage Foundation's baby. The man who literally helped to pin it had to go on ahead and step aside. He stepped aside not long ago. And you guys know this. You guys get correction after correction and after correction. But the point is that you are so dead set on lies that you will not take the truth when somebody gives it to you. You don't do any self-correcting. All you do is correct Americans. That's all you do is try to get the free speech from Americans in check. That's what you do. You send your little henchmen all around and they start looking into everybody's stuff. And they just hit me for something that was done 4 years ago. I was doing a review, a reaction video, a review on this show called Utopia that only aired 1 season over on Prime. It was Black Spring with Autumn and myself and I think somebody else. We had all watched it and we got together and we were doing a reaction on it. And they literally got me for medical misinformation for something that was done on Prime. That was a movie. And the point that I'm making is, yeah, it's about stopping people from speaking truth. But as long as you have a lie that you're going to hold on to, like a Rottweiler, like a Dogo Argento, you're going to hold on to that. Because that's what you do.
we will chart a new way forward because ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. The freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to live without fear of bigotry and hate, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, and the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body.
This sounds like a utopia right out of 1984. What this lady just got through describing gives all the power to them. All the power to them. With the hypocrisy, she stands there and says that a woman has the right to choose what to do to her own body. That wasn't going on in 2020. That wasn't going on in 2021. When you go to a job that was government involved, you wasn't able to go into that job. You had to decide you want to eat, don't you? Well, you better go ahead and take this candy bar in the arm. You are a liar. And that is what I don't like. Listen, I am a nonpartisan chick. I can't even get on Trump's lies because of all of these. I spend more time unpacking this and can hardly get on to his. The things that he has done and the things that I disliked, which is the reason why I got off of his train. My point is, when somebody believes that kind of rhetoric that she's spewing right now, that's a dangerous person. You need to watch them carefully. I wouldn't even hang out with her as a friend. She could not even be around me as a friend because I would not be able to trust when she's telling the truth or if she's telling the truth. I loathe entirely people who just blatantly roll up in the morning just to lie.
And not have her government telling her what to do. And understand on that last point how we got here. Everyone here knows. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would do just what they did, which is to overturn the protections of Roe v. Wade. And now in more than 20 states, we have a Trump abortion ban, which criminalized healthcare providers. In one state, providing prison for life. You guys may have heard the story, many here, about the stories about the...
It's states' rights, you bizarre individual. It's states' rights. It never should have been in the Supreme Court in the first place. It never should have been in the hands of the federal government in the first place. And I do want to talk about one thing where she talked about separating the families. The reason why they were separating the families is because those was not all families. Some of those kids was coming over here with people who was not their mamas and daddies, because the majority of the folks that's coming over here are dudes. Those people are being trafficked. And what the government was doing at that particular point that she's talking about and not highlighting is they were making sure that they separated the child from the adult that they came over here with so that they can investigate and find out who is your mama, who is your daddy. Where is your mama? Where is your daddy? But this is not something that's new to the United States. They were doing this kind of stuff back in the days of the Korean War, when we had Korea and you had all those GIs, I should say, was over there in Korea, and they were having all those kids. They actually instituted sex workers that were able to deal with the GIs. The GIs would end up having the babies with the kids, and then they would cajole them to use two particular adoption agencies. And by them, I mean the Korean women would then use these two adoption agencies that are still around right now today to take the child from them, but they would lie on the application and say that they didn't know what a mama, they didn't know what a daddy was, that these children just needed to be, adopted. Now, only God knows what happens to a lot of these kids when they come over here unaccompanied, without their mother or their father, saying that they belong to this person. You don't know if that person got snatched and you just walking around here with them. You don't know any of that. So that's exactly what they were doing then. They were notorious for that. They did the exact same thing in Haiti, using these humanitarian organizations to take these children from their parents. There was one Black woman, they took her child, and thank goodness, I forgot how it transpired. It was so long ago that I saw this story, but she got her child back. She was like, "What are you talking about? My child is not without a parent. We live here. Who took him? You took my child." I think it was that chick that got in all kinds of problems over there under the guise of Christianity. She's supposed to be a Christian. Over there running around taking kids. Notorious place. This is a notorious place for that. It's time for us to start to speak up on the truth. That's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what took place in Korea. So you, madam, are sitting up here with a bunch of lies. The reason why you didn't go to the border was because you already knew what was up. You don't got to go someplace that plans is working perfectly. You ain't got to go check. You ain't got to go inspect what you expect. If what you're doing is, hey, plans going perfectly.
Horrendous, most recent stories about what happened in Georgia. Many of these Trump abortion bans that make no exception for rape or incest, it's immoral. It's immoral. And today, 40% of Latinas in America live in a state with a Trump abortion ban. So imagine if she is a working woman, understand that the majority of women who seek abortion care are mothers. Understand what that means for her.
No, you understand. Are you a mama? When you ever been a mother with them big old funky man suits you walk around in? She walk around in these big old funky man suits with these gigantic, giant robot shoulder pads. Always. Where's your kids? It's a good question. And then she's going to tell you the exact same story that she's practiced over and over and over again about a woman who's a working mother who decides, she gets pregnant, she can't figure it out. Now she got to decide how she's going to feed the kids. I already know the story that she's going to tell. But you're not telling the story of a 12-year-old who's sneaking around here hunching behind the bleachers. You're telling a story about a grown woman who already knows she can't afford to have no more kids. And so therefore, this grown woman over 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old should know that when you laying down hunching, you're going to get one of a couple of things. So why doesn't she have the proactive plan to make sure that if she can't afford to feed the kids that she got right now, what's the matter with being able to say that you need to take care of responsibilities? You're going to paint a picture of somebody that's just hunching. And while they're hunching, oops, I'm pregnant. How did that happen? How did we get pregnant? I don't know, baby. No pill, no prophylactic, no sponge, no nothing, no pulling out, none of that. You don't do none of that. You just wait to go down there to the clinic and use that as your contraception. Watch her. Watch what she's about to say with that big old funky suit.
She's got to now travel to another state. God help her that she has some extra money to pay for that plane ticket. She's got to figure out what to do with her kids. God help her if she has affordable childcare. Imagine what that means. She has to leave her home to go to a airport, stand in a TSA line. Like, think about this. You know, everybody here is your policy leaders. I always say to my team, especially the young people I mentor, on any public policy,
You mean to tell me you got people that work for you still? Because you done ran everybody else off.
you have to ask, how is this going to affect a real person? Ask how it would affect a real person. Go through the details. So she's got to stand in a TSA line, to get on a plane sitting next to a perfect stranger, going to a city where she's never been, to go and receive a medical procedure. She's going to have to get right back to the airport because she got to get back to those kids. And it's not like her best friend can go with her because the best friend is probably taking care of the kids. All because these people have decided they're in a better position to tell her what's in her best interest than she is to know. It's just simply wrong. And I think we all know one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs.
She says the same thing all the
agree
time.
The government should not be telling her what to do. If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her what to do. And I pledge to you, when CHC helps pass a law to restore reproductive freedoms as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. Proudly.
How are you going
So,
to
friends,
promise that?
we have some work to do. In fact,
So basically what you're saying is you're going to get up and sue every state that has made their voice heard within their state. You know what I wish that we could do? I wish that certain states would just go ahead on and secede from this corporation. I wish that states that are tired of the mess, that are for real, would just get up and secede. Texas, go on back and secede. Alaska, go ahead on and secede. Big areas, secede. I know Hawaii and Puerto Rico, the outliers, I know they wish they could because this place took over those places. Oh, we'll just go ahead and protect them. Yeah, don't worry. We got them. Yeah, we'll go ahead and watch them. We'll protect them. Don't worry. We'll do what we need to do. Yeah, we've got Hawaii, and look what you've done to it. Yeah, we've got Puerto Rico, and look what you've done to it. You can't even take care of your own business, and you sit up here trying to convince people, mostly Catholic folks sitting in the audience there, shame on them, sitting up there trying to tell them that reproductive freedoms belongs in the hands of the government. And you just like an oxymoron said that the government shouldn't be in charge of that. It's not the government's business. The government shouldn't be in your business. Well, then you shouldn't be in the business of using government funds to make me pay for something that I don't agree with, stuff that I did when I was a stupid kid. Okay, let's just put it down there where the cows can get it. For those of you who know me, know me. I just saw my mod in here, Charlie. Charlie knows me. He's a member on the Lockhart Perspective. He's watched those videos that are behind the members wall, at least the first one, that talks about my story. So if you a grown woman that's got a whole house full of kids like what you just got through describing, first off, sis, you ought to know what it takes to get pregnant. And I'd love for you to explain to people exactly how that's the government's fault. You absolutely right, Sarah. That's got to be fake. Because I can't imagine, nobody ever shows the camera of the audience. Okay? Because it was just as quiet as ever a few minutes ago. Let's let this lady go ahead and finish so that I can go ahead and get my rest and get my tail up off here, because this lady right here, me and her,
a lot of hard work ahead of us, but we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work, I say.
After this, I'm gonna need a drink, so somebody need to cash at me something.
And I truly believe that America is ready to turn the page on the politics of division and hate. And to do it, our nation is counting on the leaders here,
There she goes
your
again with that
power,
move with her
your
hand.
activism. And so I thank you in advance for your work to register people to vote and get people to the polls. Each of us has a job to do. As we celebrate this month, we know we stand on broad shoulders
There
of
she
people
goes.
before us
Same stuff.
who have passed us now the baton. Those heroes who fought for freedom, who have now passed the baton on to us. And the bottom line is we know what we stand for.
Yeah.
So we know
Communism,
what to fight for.
socialism.
And when we fight, we win. God
Marxism.
bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
I got to adjust the wiglet after all of that. I am fit to be tied. But this came, it's been an hour and 27 minutes. And so this came right after the last live that we had to do. And I just felt like, you know what? You're not going to use us. You're not going to distract us and get us over here talking about Jerome Powell and we not notice what's going on over here. No, we need to notice this. I hope that everybody gets the opportunity to watch this in short bites, because what I will do is I will put probably a green screen, Paula. I will put small bites of this over on the Lockhart Perspective as we did last week with one or two of the lives that we had there. Okay. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And remember what we always say, take care of yourself, because as you can clearly see, ain't nobody else going to do it. Ain't nobody else going to do it if you don't do it. If you don't do it, I don't know who will. Then I want you to make sure that you take care of my friend, because my friend is you. Peace. Hey everyone, it's me, Felicia, of the Lockhart Perspective and Headlines with a Voice. I want to tell you a little secret. This is what I used to do, because I don't do it anymore. I would go to the store, buy the barbecue sauce, pour it inside of a bowl, put a whole bunch of different spices, a dash of brown sugar, a dash of maple, and a dash of mustard, stir it all around, and everybody would be like, oh my gosh, this is the best, this is the best. But I was exhausted after all of that, and a lot of times I couldn't remember how many dashes of what I put in it. But I don't have to do that anymore, because now I just go to Judge Joe Brown's website and I order his 3-pack of bottled barbecue sauce. It is by far the best, and I do mean the best barbecue sauce I've ever eaten. And when you go to his website and you order his 3-pack, you'll see exactly what I mean. Head on over to jjbbbbq.com and order Judge Joe Brown's barbecue sauce. You'll be glad you did, and you're going to tell me about it. I know you will. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Help me